Hey there, welcome to a DIY video on making a homemade hand sack.
So we're back in the workshop here, our DIY workshop, because some of you have flat balls, but you might want to do programming to help so that teens or tweens can bring flat balls home with them. So we're going to show you a couple simple ways using everyday objects that are affordable objects that you can make your own flat balls.
Yeah, well, so the flop ball is just basically a flat bag of sand or birdseed. And if you have access to a sewing machine and are crafty, they're real simple to make. It's just 2 pieces of fabric, 3.5 inches cut in diameter, and then you sew it around, fill it up, or turn it inside out, fill it up, and then sew it closed. But we're going to make some variations with, like Don said, stuff you have around the house. And the first one, we're going to use a paper bag. We're going to use
old lunch bag.
Yeah, just a regular lunch bag. Some bird seed, and in this case, we're going to use some buckwheat because that's what I had in my closet. But buckwheat or rice or millet would work fine, and just some tape. And here's how we're going to do it. Now, paper bags are really nice because they're not that slick. They kind of have some grip to them, and so it won't slide off the back of your hand as much. So with the bag, what we want to do is we want to pour the bird seed into the bottom without it opening up. We want to kind of keep the bag flat. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold it so that the bottom part stays flat, and we get like a little square there. So here, why don't I hold the bag for you?
So if you have a friend, have the friend hold it.
I'm your friend.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So don't fully open it. Keep the bottom flat so it'll settle all in there nice and flat.
All right. And I'm just going to get it down to the bottom. And I'm going to fold this bag so that I can make a square out of it. So I'll just start by folding it here. And then I'll roll it down like this. Now, it's not that pretty, but, you know.
Doesn't need to be pretty to play.
Yeah, we're just making something that's flat that we can play with on the backs of our hands that has some nice weight. So there we go. I folded that up. It's pretty square. So why don't we just put some tape across there? All right. I'll rip that. And then, now if we wanted to, we could make a design, maybe put some tape on the other side, on the bottom, just to make it symmetrical. All right, there we go. Whoop.
Now, I don't know if duct tape is still a thing, but you could always do a duct tape. Actually, no, the duct tape would make it slippery.
Yeah, that'd be a little more slick,
Okay.
I think.
You could, and you can add designs with other stickers, maybe, or stickers would make it slippery.
Yeah, a couple of small stickers. You can put like little stars or maybe.
I was trying to add some style to it or add some decor to it, but again, it doesn't need to be pretty to play.
All right, and there we go. We have a flat, grain-filled bag that we can play on the back of our hand. Now you can experiment with different grains and get something. So buckwheat, this is kind of a big grain, but it's not that dense. So it's actually a little bit lighter than if you use something like sand or millet. Millet would have been a lot heavier, but.
What about kitty litter?
Well, kitty litter would work great if you can, I'd go for out of the box.
Not used kitty litter?
Not the cat box, the kitty litter box. So there you go. That's a cheap, easy, quick one that you can make. Now the next version that we're going to make is, it's a little bit different, but this is going to use a single sock. Do you have any single socks?
I have 2 feet.
Yeah, you do have 2 feet, but don't you lose socks here and again?
It's true.
One foot will go one place.
The mystery of the dryer.
Yeah. Well, so we're going to use a sock, and we're going to use a plastic bag for this. We'll need some scissors and a hot glue gun.
Oh, this is getting fancy.
Getting fancy. So basically, what we're going to do is we're just going to use the bottom edge of the sock, and we're going to fill it up, and we're going to hot glue it and turn it into a homemade
All right, show us how it's done.
All right, so you will need some scissors, and we're going to cut off the bottom portion of the sock. You don't want to cut it too close because then you won't have much space to hot glue it. So if you imagine it's going to look like that, about square when it's done, we'll cut a little bit above that.
Okay.
Above that. So if you want to hold that, thank you. I'm just going to cut right here. Now, depending on the filling that you use, will depend on whether or not you're going to need a plastic bag. Okay, because if you have a really thin filling or a fine filling, like a fine sand, the sand is going to go through the fabric, especially if it's not a very tight-knit fabric. So for something like the grain that we're using today, that is big seeds, so we wouldn't need a bag for this, like a plastic baggie, but we'll show you how to make it with the bag.
Okay.
All right, so just a plastic baggie. Now this was one of those zipper ones, but I cut off the zipper so it wouldn't be all big in there. So why don't you just pour that in there? And again, we're using about a 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit less of the grain. And we want to tape this so that it doesn't come out. And I'm just going to fold it once and then fold it a second time to just get a rough size of the end of handsack that we're going to make. Where'd that tip go? That end?
I know. There it is.
There it is. All right. All right. Just tape that so it doesn't come open. There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
And then no, I think that'll be enough.
Okay.
Because that's not going to get a lot of, it's not going to get undone because we're putting this now into the socks. So
Okay.
when we take that, I'm going to open up the socks, stick that in there. All right. And so now we've got the grain inside a plastic bag inside a sock.
Huh.
And now we could sew this, right? Just sort
Okay.
of sew it up. But we're going to just do the real easy thing. We're just going to put a line
Could you tape it?
You could tape it, sure. But we're just going to put a line of hot glue on the inside there.
Okay.
And there's a hot glue gun. It's hot. There's glue. Pew, pew, pew.
All right.
It's shooting little glue bullets. So why don't you hold that?
Hold what?
I don't know. Here, why don't you hold that like that?
The camera's that way. So
Oh, that's true. So I'll
you
go this
probably
way. All right. And I'm just going to put a line of hot glue, and we're just going to push that down as we go along. Yeah, that's right. That's happening. Look at that glue. Look at that yummy glue. Gluey, gluey, glue, glue. Ooh, did I get you?
Nope.
All right. And that, you got to blow on it so it's not hot anymore.
I think it's okay.
Okay. All right. How'd that work?
Seems to be good.
All right. And so look at that. Now we've quickly and easily made,
Not coming out.
it's not coming out, we've quickly and easily made a hand sack that you can play
Ooh.
with on the back of your
I
hand.
like the fabric, the cotton on it.
Uh-huh.
Better than the paper bag.
Yeah, it's going to be a little nicer, right? A
And
little
it
nicer.
settles nicer.
Yeah. Here, let's try this. Whoop. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that is a nice one, right? And the cool thing about this is, if you go to the Goodwill or, the secondhand store, you can get socks for very cheap. Just snip off the bottoms or have an event where everybody brings their single socks in and you wash them and then cut off the bottoms and make some homemade hand sacks.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so easy DIY flop balls that you can make with or even give instructions virtually to have your tweens and teens flopping at home.